Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving headfirst into a story that is an absolute masterclass in atmosphere. It seamlessly blends gritty, high-stakes science fiction with this incredibly deep, ancient mythological symbolism. It literally drops us and our main character, Samuel, right into the deep end of a terrifying unknown. And his awakening? Yeah, it is anything but peaceful. So buckle up, because we are about to peel back the layers of a truly visceral mystery. Picture this. You give a sudden jolt and wake up, totally disoriented, and you quickly realize you're trapped. Samuel finds himself inside what he can only describe as some sort of coffin. He's strapped down tight across his chest, strapped across his legs. He reaches out, feeling around frantically in the dark with his bare hands, but there's no handle anywhere. It's pretty much the ultimate nightmare scenario, right? Right in front of his face is a pane of frosted glass, and he desperately wipes it with his hand, just trying to see out. And then, cutting right through that heavy darkness, comes this incredibly unsettling mechanical sound echoing off the walls. Click, click, room. It's the sound of heavy machinery operating just outside, instantly highlighting his complete and utter lack of control.
Okay, let's dive into this environment. When Samuel manages to wipe that frosted glass, he doesn't see a sterile lab or a hospital room. Instead, he's in this dim, rusted-out train carriage. Right above him, these vague blue lamps are casting an eerie, cold light. And you've got blind moths fluttering around in the pale glow, just sort of bumping into each other. And then suddenly, the train sways hard beneath him, curving left. He's in rapid motion, completely trapped, rocketing into the unknown. You can imagine his heart pounding as he gasps for air inside this sealed glass box.
Now here's where we get a really brilliant look into who Samuel actually is. He doesn't succumb to the panic. Instead, he somehow pauses all that frantic noise in his head and initiates a highly methodical sequence to regain control. First step, breathe calmly. Step 2, feel the wrist. Step 3, let the pulse settle. This extremely simple sequence tells us so much. Samuel is clearly trained for extreme stress. He knows exactly how to conquer his own fear, and that allows him to observe his surroundings with a sharp, analytical mind.
And it's a really good thing he regains his focus because he looks back up at the frosted glass and spots his very first major clue. He notices a transparent plate embedded right there in the glass, with text glowing faintly in the dim light. But here's the kicker. It's not English. It's not some futuristic barcode or code either. It's ancient Hebrew. Samuel tries to sound it out in the dark, whispering, "Rakia, Rakia," he exclaims. This is a massive tonal shift for us. We've got this high-tech mechanical glass coffin on a moving train, sharply juxtaposed against literally one of the oldest languages on Earth. It instantly injects this profound sense of biblical mystery into a very cold sci-fi setting. So, what does this actually mean? Let's break down why this specific word matters so much to the story. Rakia is a deeply significant ancient Hebrew word. It translates roughly to the firmament, or the vast expanse of the sky. In biblical traditions, it refers to the dome of the heavens that was created to separate the waters from the heavens. So, you have to ask, why is this ancient word written on the glass of a claustrophobic box? Well, it serves as a brilliant piece of environmental foreshadowing. The very word that means vast expanse of the sky is sitting right between Samuel and his freedom, hinting perfectly at what is about to happen next. The payoff to that clue is immediate and, honestly, breathtaking. Right after Samuel pronounces Rakia, the glass suddenly slides open. Then you hear that mechanical sound again, and the entire roof of the carriage just retracts. The crushing claustrophobia vanishes in an instant. Suddenly, Samuel is exposed to this vast, stunning, starry sky, highlighting the bright blue constellation of the Pleiades alongside a fiercely glowing nebula. He climbs out of the coffin, practically naked and shivering in the freezing air, as the entire cosmos reflects on the black, translucent floor beneath his feet. He has quite literally emerged from a sealed box straight into the infinite firmament. As Samuel finally gets his bearings in this massive, starlit space, his training kicks back in, and we shift to a sharp, analytical breakdown of the carriage itself. Over on the wall, he spots a large, black, metallic cabinet. Right on the front of it is an electronic plate, and glowing in stark, bright red is the number 12. Samuel reaches out, touches the plate, and the exact moment his finger makes contact, a sharp electronic chirp rings out, and the heavy cabinet doors pull open. Just like that, we've moved from the ancient mystery of Rakia straight into the cold, precise reality of a high-tech electronic vault. Let's look at what's inside. Inside the cabinet, bathed in these atmospheric blue lights, is Samuel's gear. And it is a jarring mix of items. First, you've got a white, space-style suit paired up with a heavy black bulletproof vest. Hanging right near it is a tactical belt,
equipped with a very grounded, entirely modern 9mm pistol sitting in a holster, fully stocked with extra magazines. But then, right on that same belt, there's this strange case containing a futuristic device that looks a lot like a controller. When Samuel presses its button, it lights up blue with glowing red keys, and right on the end is a small plate that reads 12 Disciples. It's just an incredibly bizarre loadout, right? We are seeing a deliberate mashup of modern tactical weaponry, futuristic controllers, and explicit biblical titles. That number 12 isn't just a locker number, it represents a mantle.
Samuel presses the button to turn off those glowing red keys and clips the 12 Disciples controller back onto his belt. He's getting fully suited up now, but as he does, he notices a shoulder pocket on his new gear. On the outside of this pocket is a golden shield, and attached to it is a white heart jewelry pin. That is highly decorative for what is supposed to be tactical gear, wouldn't you say? He notices something bulging from inside the pocket. He pops it open and discovers a solid gold deck of cards, featuring a red heart right dead in the center. I mean, a solid gold deck of cards? What possible use could that have for an operative heading into a life-or-death tactical situation?
Now, what's really interesting about this discovery is that when Samuel actually opens the golden deck, he doesn't find 52 standard playing cards. He finds just 2, and they are completely pitch black. One says Joker in blood red lettering, and the other simply says Queen. Now, watch what happens here. Samuel flicks these stiff, black cards in his freezing hands, and suddenly they come alive. The solid metal surfaces transition seamlessly into video-like screens projecting high-res moving images directly onto the cards. So this isn't just a heavy piece of gold, it's a high-tech briefing interface cleverly disguised as archaic playing cards.
The images that appear on these cards are pure visual horror, and they instantly lock in the terrifying reality of whatever mission Samuel has been awakened for. Let's compare them side by side. On the Queen card, the video displays a grotesque woman wearing a red dress, with literal blood dripping from her mouth. It is visceral, violent, and just deeply unsettling to look at. Meanwhile, on the Joker card, the visual is completely different, but equally terrifying. It shows a figure described as blacker than black, a form that is actively pulsating with a sort of dark energy. The contrast is incredibly stark. One is a fleshy, bloody, very human horror, and the other feels like a manifestation of pure, consuming darkness.
Right after these horrifying moving images play out, text finally flickers over the video on the cards, explicitly cementing Samuel's mission. The interface identifies these two entities with just one word right before their names: targets. The bloody woman in the red dress on the Queen card is labeled Jezebel. The pulsating, pitch-black entity on the Joker card is labeled Nimrod. Just like the Hebrew word rakia we saw on the coffin and the 12 Disciples text on the controller, these aren't just random, cool-sounding code names. They are ancient mythological names that carry massive historical and thematic weight. Let's unpack exactly why the name Jezebel matters so much to the lore here. In historical and biblical contexts, Jezebel is an incredibly infamous figure. Over centuries, her name has essentially become culturally synonymous with wickedness, the promotion of false prophets, and extreme, unapologetic violence. She was a queen known for a totally ruthless pursuit of power. So by explicitly linking that rich, dark historical archetype to the bloody video image, we realize Samuel isn't just hunting a bad person. He is hunting a living embodiment of ancient corruption. It's a brilliant, highly effective way to instantly communicate the massive threat level to us.
And then we have his second target. Let's look at the significance of the name Nimrod. In biblical tradition, Nimrod was a mighty hunter and a very powerful king. But more importantly, mythological history often associates his name with the ultimate rebellion against the divine. He is traditionally linked to the construction of the Tower of Babel, which was an attempt by humanity to elevate itself to the literal level of the gods. Connecting this deep history of supreme arrogance and dark rebellion to that pulsating, blacker-than-black figure on the Joker card suggests Samuel is facing an enemy that represents a fundamental cosmic darkness. This is a true, earth-shattering anomaly.
So, let's take a step back and look at the big picture for a second. We have a protagonist waking up beneath the Rakia firmament, heavily armed with a 9mm pistol, a 12 Disciples controller, and a very clear mission to assassinate avatars of pure ancient evil. It forces us to ask the ultimate question. Are we looking at a gritty, futuristic holy war literally playing out among the stars, or is Samuel actually trapped inside a lethal, highly advanced simulation of biblical proportions? It's a massive mystery that leaves us begging to decode more of this universe. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and remember to always keep questioning the symbols around you.